is Philly so bad? I don't understand this.
Oh man, big. You know what? I don't like being right all the time. I'll tell this too. Well, actually, I do like being right, but there's certain things that I almost rather be wrong about. And
it's crazy how right you were about this.
You know what? It's one of those things where it's like, and I've said this many times before. With Philadelphia. The nickname for Philadelphia is obviously Philly, right? And now the word Philadelphia does not have two L's in a row in it. It's just spelled F-I-L, right? But when you...
F-I-L?
It's P-H-I-L, whatever. I don't understand how to spell that good, but I was just too excited to get to the L part.
I was about to say, bro, that was...
I don't know. Look, I don't know. I was so excited to get to the L. But the nickname for Philly is... nickname of Philadelphia is Philly, and there are definitely the two L's in the Philly.
They added the extra L.
Well, there's another L in Philadelphia, right? But they made sure that when they shrunk it, that they would keep both L's in, because if there's one thing that we know about Philadelphia is that they will always and have always taken an L. And I looked historically at what was going on here. From 1790 to 1800, the capital...
This is so f***ing funny
the
that you
capital...
looked up historical facts.
Because there's a trend here, right? It's more than just, this is just happening, right? There's a trend going on. From 1790 to 1800, the capital of the United States of America was in what city?
Philadelphia.
It was in Philadelphia. Yeah, and then what happened? They lost it, because that's what they do. Okay? They lose shit constantly. Now let's go. We can just go throughout. We can go throughout.
Just go down the list.
Yep.
Netflix is done.
They're not done.
Done.
What are you talking about?
Netflix pays $100 million to Aaron Sorkin or whoever to make a TV show.
Right.
Right? That distracts you for 2 hours.
Right.
YouTube pays $0 million to Joe Rogan and Jamie to make a podcast that distracts you for 2 hours every day.
All right, so Shane Gillis and Andrew Schultz have somewhat of a friendly beef going on. Part of it, I believe, stems from Schultz's disdain for the city of Philadelphia. And some of his takes are pretty funny. But in recent times, the Philadelphia takes aren't necessarily aging as well as they may have seemed that they would have, right? When he was first saying those, it was like, oh, yeah, Embiid does suck. The 76ers can't get it right. And if he just stuck to roasting the 76ers, he'd be in good shape right now, because they are a dog shit organization in this present time. They look very, very far away from being a contender. But this is not a sports podcast or whatever, a sports commentary show that I'm putting on. I'm going to comment on the dynamics displayed in Shane Gillis's most recent appearance on the Flagrant podcast. You see, Shane has been on Flagrant a handful of times before, but now Shane is a full-blown superstar. He has a very successful show on Netflix that is, quite frankly, it's the talk of the town now. Tires. And you guys see, he's from Pennsylvania. He's not necessarily from Philadelphia, but he did come up in the Philadelphia comedy circuit. With, obviously the proximity to his town, Mechanicsville or whatever. You can't make this shit up. The name of that town is hilarious. But yeah. So Schultz versus Shane Gillis in the Gerbstein, the Shane Gillis co-star on their show. That's a big hit. That is the topic here. But we're also going to be getting into some old clips from some of the other appearances of Shane Gillis on Flagrant, because this beef goes back a few years, where Shane has he's essentially cucked Andrew every time he comes on his podcast. He's the star of the show, which, if you've been following the Flagrant podcast, that's kind of hard to do, because Andrew has become known to overtalk the guest, overtalk the co-host, really just go off on his rants and really drive the show, which he has every right to do. It is his show. But for somebody to come in and actually be in the driver's seat that's not Andrew is very, very rare. So this has to be highlighted. So let's get into it.
everybody. Welcome to the show. And today we are joined by good friends, Netflix superstars.
Yeah, Steve Gerby.
Steve Gerby, and also Shane Gillis, of course. But Steve Gerby, I think the world has known, has just hit a sub 80 round on a golf course right now. Wow.
Really
and
incredible.
I'm not saying that like the acting superstardom has gone to his head, but the sub 80, I think, might have changed some things. I mean, he asked Alex to not be on the couch because of the color of his skin. He requested.
Well, okay, so we got to stop it right there to address. Look at this camera. Look at the quality. Like, what the hell? Flagrant has some of the best production value of any podcast on the market, but they got the guy who owns the studio space and owns all the gear sitting off in the corner like a bad child on timeout. This is super disrespectful. We're going to get to more. It's more than just the color of Alex's skin. He actually was on his worst behavior the last time Gillis was on Flagrant.
I did walk up to him on set just to say hi and try to give him a hug, and he was like, not right now, Schultz. And then he just walked away.
Excuse me. Not even close. Because he didn't like the way I was talking to you.
You see that? The new guy on the block, he can't help. He's too real. He keeps it too real. He has no filter. He just straight up says he didn't like the way I was talking to you. So I was supposed to stop talking to you because we beefing, Schultz. We ain't cool.
What do you mean?
And how
I was being nice to you.
That was actually really funny.
Yeah,
You
you
want to tell this?
suck up.
It's that Philly versus New York beef. The Schultz started it though. Schultz was throwing a bunch of stones at Philadelphia, at the city of brotherly love, and now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. You see, this Shane Gillis guy, he's kind of achieved the things that Schultz still has yet to achieve. Schultz's Netflix special isn't being received all too well when you really start scrolling some of these YouTube titles and headlines of articles and whatnot. Yes, of course, his core fans are gonna rock with it. But as far as the overall public perception, it's kind of iffy. It's kind of shaky. So not only did Schultz have this long beef with saying, Netflix isn't even important, YouTube's where it's at, which I agree with to a certain degree. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely watch way more YouTube videos than I do Netflix or any other streaming services videos. That's more like going to the movies darn near is firing up a streaming platform at this point, unless you're doing the whole live TV thing on them. But that's a whole nother ballpark, right? But yeah, so I think Schultz might have a little bit of animosity, a little bit of jealousy in his heart. And then on top of it, it's a guy from Philadelphia who's kicking his back in. Yeah, they came and they dictated who's going to be on the couch. The guests dictated who's going to be on the couch. They said, the dude who owns all the stuff, he can go sit over there in the corner and watch us lay pipe, essentially. So, yeah. Schultz, by nature of this being your show and you actually have the final say, Alex is in the cuck chair. He's in the Adam 22 chair, but you're actually playing the role of Adam 22 today, Schultz. But not only today, this goes back. So like I said, we're going to get into some old clips as well, which let's go back to when Alex blacked out on the first podcast and insulted the guest.
When did Alex black out, bro?
Alex, I noticed Alex was black out. He was like, Shane, you're fat. You need to do something. I was like, bro, I don't know you that well.
I mean, I know what I'm talking about because you are fat.
Can I say it, bro?
Okay, look, ready? I know what it was.
That didn't make it.
At a certain point, Alex blacked out. We all pretended like he wasn't.
You are fat.
It's okay. Listen, here it is. And I like blackout Alex. This is good.
I
So here's
gotta
the
check
thing.
myself right now. God.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I'm having one of
The
those moments where
importance-
it's like
Fight
everybody's
someone,
about
dude.
to
The importance of alcohol.
I
I can name a bunch
of black shit that you
You're
name
wearing
one.
a f***ing Metallica Kiss sweatshirt right now.
Yeah, the Misfits.
Painted nails.
Red corduroys.
You know,
I am on
shut the f*** up, Al.
podcast. Half the shit that I'm wearing, I don't even know.
That is
But
literally a white
I don't
collage.
like the...
Metallica, Mickey Mouse, Guns
N' Roses, the
Don't even know.
Misfits.
Corduroys,
Don't even know.
New Balance.
Don't even know. I looked at it and was like, oh, that shit's fire.
Dude, you're
He's wearing a
appropriating.
1906 golf club.
Yeah.
Say
You
it.
guys weren't even allowed in.
I don't like you saying different worlds. You went to high school in Manhattan. You went all over the country with this guy on the road.
Don't do it, motherfucker.
Do it.
What? Don't do what?
I know.
All right, name something
Make
black I
good
don't know
points.
about.
That's what he's saying.
Name
Don't
black
do it.
culture that Shane doesn't know.
You got your nails painted talking about some shit don't hit us. Stop it.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Getting your black card taken by a little Indian man and 3 white dudes is kind of crazy. However, Alex is still a major upgrade from Kaz, the previous token black man that was in the intro little highlight reel of this beef, this this alleged beef here that I'm pointing out. Yeah, Kaz was terrible. Even while just letting that clip play as I get in the mood to record this video, I wanted to stop it and say, Kaz, shut the F up. Which I'm sure that's how we all felt every time Kaz spoke on Flagrant, like literally ever. His departure from the podcast is the second best thing to ever happen to the Flagrant podcast. The first best thing, in my opinion, is probably the addition of Alex Media as the full-time media guy, because he stacked his chickens correctly and reinvested into his craft, and is a big reason behind why the Flagrant podcast looks as good as it does. On top of that, he's not terrible as an on-camera personality. Now, he is going to take the brunt of these jokes right here. He's about to get roasted, and your friends are a bunch of comedians, so it probably is one of those things where it comes with the territory. Especially being one of the only black guys in the friend group, you're gonna catch these jokes. But on top of that, you're like super whitewashed, don't even date within your race type black dude, and they let us know all the time. So yeah, Alex is getting it pretty tough. But at the end of the day, the dude's winning. He's laughing straight to the bank. He has the best podcast studios in the game, in the podcast game, in my opinion. If you want like actual super high end production quality, he's got it. He's got that shit on lock. Look up his company if you're unfamiliar and you guys are in the New Yorker. I believe he has a LA studio as well. But yeah, if you're in either of those 2 huge cities, Alex Media is the guy for your pod if you got the money to spend on it. But anyways, back to these clips.
Nah, there's super black culture that you guys haven't adapted to yet.
What?
Okay, Drake painted his nails a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there we go. It's like you haven't adapted to it yet. You will all have your nails painted.
White guys.
Yeah, but y'all got that from white people.
You black people are just entering their emo phase.
Their gay
We've
phase,
been
yeah.
there, bro.
Yeah, but
We pioneered being gay.
Yeah,
Any
but
gay shit y'all do, y'all got from us.
Yeah.
but it all circles back around, and then you guys are going to start doing it again.
You know how good shit got to be for black people for them to get angsty? This is a new thing. This is like an equality thing. Y'all just got the ability to have angst. Your baseline needs are finally getting met, and you're like, well, I'm still not happy. White people been on that, bro.
Yeah.
The lock-in right here, y'all, all that hemming and hawing that Schultz is doing, he's actually about to get shit on by the Philadelphia goon himself, Shane Gillis. This is the start of Shane Gillis owning Schultz on Flagrant right here. So pay attention. This is like an important historical moment for the city of Philadelphia and for this podcast. This is like the Eagles finally beating the Chiefs in podcast in the podcast way.
I have
Then
everything I
depressed.
need, and I'm not happy as
How
angst.
feel?
Whoa.
You got your nails painted. You look like an angst. You know what I mean?
I love Schultz
What are
epiphanies.
you talking about?
Schultz epiphanies are my favorite. He
Yo.
repeats his statement. He's like,
That's crazy, though. It's true.
Schultz epiphanies.
That should be making you gassing
So
you, though,
good,
right?
dude.
When Schultz
I know
has a
when
picture,
he
you're
quotes
like,
you.
I did it, yo! I did it!
It's true.
We were
All right, so that's part 1 of the beef. We had to flash it on back. I was made aware of that whole dynamic right there by watching Too Lazy to Try a few months ago, and when I was watching Gillis on this Flagrant podcast, the one that just took place, June 2025, I was like, oh shit, isn't this like a thing? And sure enough, it was a thing. That one of those like back of the brain type of things. Dug into the file cabinet and decided, you know what, I want to make a video on this. I wanted to just make a video on the most recent one. I was like, yeah, these old clips I feel like are valuable. So shout out to one of the GOATs in this space, Too Lazy to Try. Anywho, now we're going to spin back to present day. Speaking of June 2025, we're going to swing back to the present day where Alex is going to be the butt of another joke as he occasionally switches on and off the cut cam. So let's check this one out. This one's a little disturbing if you are a frequent traveler, but it's a valuable little clip.
Do you think that we'd be talking about this today, Gerbs?
Baths?
Yeah, just like comparing our bath stories.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You ever catch a bath jerk off?
No.
No, that's crazy. You jacked off in the bath?
Just sat in my cup.
This guy is wild comfortable with his own.
Well, and to be fair, that's low-key a self-inflicted wound right there. Like, nobody would have called out that you like to just, marinate yourself in your own droppings, but you were probably, yup. That was a creepy yup, I ain't gonna lie.
Semen, I don't understand it. He'll come on himself and just leave it there.
He comes on the carpet of hotels, like when he's on the bed. He
I was thinking about that.
Turns over and then just lets it rip.
No.
Yeah, that's
It's disgusting.
We're all living in the same world.
Okay, it was funny, but holy shit. Look at Akash and Schultz competing for who can fake laugh the hardest. Akash almost gave himself whiplash while reacting to this is a funny comment, but really, bro? Really? Make sure you wipe the slobber off when you're done sucking on that slong. Cause what a freaking glaze. That's a super glaze.
Coming in the same world we're in.
I'm with you.
On the floor,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to walk barefoot in a hotel because of this guy.
You shouldn't walk barefoot in a hotel.
What do you wear?
You sleep with socks? You get up to pee in the middle of the
He
night?
goes to the beach with socks, of
sleep
course.
with socks.
Yeah, just in the socks, yeah.
Do you wear? I sleep naked. Do you sleep naked?
I sleep naked, but I
You
have
wear socks and you jack off and sleep. He's naked with socks.
I'm a little odd, man.
That's take advantage of some girls in Kensington.
Back when he started his podcast, I think I was like one of the first guests you ever had on, and it was that was another time that you risked your own, because at the time I think you had like 1,000 listeners, which in Philadelphia was like, what?
Don't forget the main plot, y'all. And where? In Philadelphia. Ah, yes. There's beef. A little bit of beef, comedic beef here.
Yeah.
Because if you got like 80 views on something, it was huge, and he had 1,000, and I was like, people are gonna hate me. They're gonna stop listening to your show, or what have you. And then, but yeah, he was like, I was open about my like pornography watching.
Oh,
so I think like that.
So that's
What you say
I
is-
liked it.
Yeah.
All right, so if we're going to profile him, I don't think anybody's surprised that this dude is very open about his addictions with watching naked people do the deed.
Did you watch porn? There's
We got no details.
He's like, he'll give you you can ask him anything.
I don't really have like shame.
fully
around
answer
it.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a sexual freak.
No, that's sexual. but also, we don't have to talk about it. I'm not like inviting you to talk
No,
about
if you ask him, we'll tell you. Tell him about the pillow.
What pillow?
You know the pillow.
Oh, the pillow? Well, I thought you were
That was fucking perfect.
What pillow? You know the pillow.
I thought you were talking about. Oh boy, that was. Never mind. But
tell that one too.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Don't touch. Don't recoil. But
Yes, good old over laughter at the guest. Supposed to be the guest. They're taking over the show. Something that we don't really see happen on Flagrant too often. Usually it's Andrew talking the guest's ear off, roasting the guest, just showing zero respect to the guest the majority of the time, and zero respect to his co-host. And if your name is not Akash, that's the only one he respects, for the most part. So it was interesting to see Shane Gillis and Steve that they pull up. They got bigger star power right now. They're kind of winning more in the comedy game right now. So much like the Louis C.K. incident, he has no choice but to just sit there and take it. He has to watch his podcast get ran by the perceived more entertaining people, the funnier people. It's very fascinating how Andrew picks and chooses who to be obnoxious with. Usually that's his thing. You know, he's just super obnoxious. He's gonna laugh real crazy. Akash, you see, he's still in crazy laugh mode. They're like muscle memory is pretty much set for that at this point. But Shane Gillis was the star of this show. He's running the Flagrant podcast now. He came in that, you know, his buddy, his co-star in their successful Netflix show. And that, shoot, this is full-blown acting that they're doing, right? It's a comedic acting type show. And they're doing it well. And so he's coming in, they're calling shots. They said, no, the dude who owns the studio, you're gonna go sit over there off camera because we don't want to pod with you, okay? And you know, if you want to chime in, I guess you can chime in because this is still your space and this is Andrew's space. But we ain't podding with you. I don't think it had anything to do with him being black. It had everything to do with this is our shit. We're running it because Andrew had all that shit to talk about Philadelphia. Now what's up? That's really the summary right there. But we're gonna get to one more clip. Two more clips, both being flashbacks to some degree. One, just spinning the block. Shane again. He pointed out that Andrew has these epiphanies and he starts doing all that talking with his hands and stuff. And he's gonna turn his crew against him. Basically, the first time he was at Flagrant, he turned the Flagrant crew against Andrew within like 3 minutes of talking. Then we're gonna spin the block to speaking of the crew. Remember I said the second best thing to happen to Flagrant was Kaz leaving or whatever order. Alex Media replaced Andrew Schultz's brother as like the main camera guy for Flagrant and for Brilliant Idiots, right? But he also owns these like studios now. So we're gonna spin the block and watch a clip that's referencing what even opened the door for Alex Media to be present in the Flagrant world in the first place. And that will wrap up this video. So let's get into those last clips. But really, as far as the narrative, we're already at the end. So these next ones are just bonus clips. I appreciate y'all for watching to this point. If you still hear my voice, you might as well hit a subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, that is, hit that subscribe. Returning viewers, you already know what to do. Hit that like, hit that comment if you feel like it. And let's get into these bonus clips.
This is gonna sound weird, but like I think drugs are almost like a necessary component to dealing with life in the way we have to live it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to do drugs if you're fucking in Alaska.
Yeah.
I think if you're in Alaska,
oh my God,
you need drugs.
Go about it like
If you're like a canner in Alaska, you probably don't need heroin.
I hope you're on the wide for that. 'Cause that was hilarious.
drugs are a necessary component.
hilarious.
Now, what we're not going to do is let Schultz's fake laugh fool us. He's not even audibly laughing right here. He is sick to his stomach. He's ready to crash out right now. He's realizing that Shane Gillis has stolen his crew. If he was a pirate, they would make him walk the plank right now. Flagrant is now Shane Gillis's podcast until further notice, until they find a captain that is more suitable than him, because Schultz has just been chosen up on, essentially.
I hate how this has turned on me. I hate how this has turned on me.
You know what?
How can you bet it did?
I got off of me.
How did I let this happen?
Loves that it
How
turned
did I let
on
this
me.
happen?
I love that turn.
How do you think it wasn't? How did you think it wasn't going to turn on?
God told my brother to punch you in the face.
He did.
He did.
God, he did. Hey, Greg leaned in and Greg said, "This is God." And God, and guess what else God told me? Duck. So God was talking to both of us.
I was hanging with Greg last night.
All right, so for those of y'all that might not be familiar, Greg is Andrew Schultz's brother, his like blood-related brother. I believe he's younger than him, but he's like taller than him and bigger than him, so he's like the little big brother thing. But he has like some mental issues, especially at the time that they first were starting out Brilliant Idiots and Flagrant. It was still going by Flagrant 2. It still had that annoying dude from the beginning of this episode of mine, Kaz. It still had him on there on Flagrant 2. It was a totally different era of the Flagrant pod. I'm actually quite proud of Andrew Schultz's success. He started off, from scratch as far as the podcast is concerned. Yes, he was on Guy Code because of Charlemagne and all that stuff of Charlemagne, kind of ushering in this wave of talent into the podcast world and radio world and whatnot, TV world, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, Schultz, he believed in himself, he bet on himself, and he really stuck to the program with Flagrant, and it's now one of the top 5 biggest podcasts in the whole world. So shout out to Schultz at the end of the day. But so Greg is a huge part of why Flagrant and Brilliant Idiots was able to take off, because they had to basically fire Greg after he basically tried to clean Charlemagne's clock. He tried to, can I get a drop him? But right there in the middle of them recording a podcast, he tried to knock him out. Tried to knock him out cold, prime Mike Tyson type shit. And so Greg was let go after that. So they're just kind of reminiscing in this clip here. Like I said, these are bonus clips that you guys are watching at this point. But yeah, you're not even going to hear my voice again. So I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of the clip, and I'll see you all in the next video. But yeah, Greg is a historical figure because Alex was sometimes doing camera work for them at this time. But then once the Greg crash out happened, Alex basically became the full-time camera guy and eventually became on-camera talent as well, as they have this, crew. And I believe Mark does some editing and stuff too. He used to have the laptop on him all the time. I think he does camera stuff too. But yeah, Alex coming in changed a lot for Flagrant, I feel, because that's when they moved to that huge studio that they film in now. And they have multiple locations, they being Alex's company, that, anybody can rent out a space from them. You could book it through their online shit. So it's just crazy to see their growth to where it's like, wow, you guys have some of the biggest studios for sure on the East Coast, but also on the West Coast. And you have one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It's surpassed the podcast that Andrew does with Charlemagne, which at this point, Brilliant Idiots is just him showing respect to the guy that put him on. He doesn't even have to do Brilliant Idiots at all ever again, and he could just do Flagrant if he wanted to, and he'd be totally fine. But yeah, anyways, this is the end of this video, and peace.
Man, and we were going over that. I was very sick at that time. I felt so bad about it, and I felt so uncomfortable, and he was saying all these things, and then we were telling some of the guys with us at dinner, and then when they're like, "What happened?" He's like, "Yeah, I threw a punch at Charlemagne, man, and to be honest, he's the only person I miss." I punched a lot of people when I was sick, man, and that's the only person I didn't connect with. It was pretty amazing.
If somebody's 6 foot, how tall is Greg?
6, bro.
7.
No, he's taller than
7.
6.
Maybe 6, 7. Yeah,
If somebody's 6'7", and how many pounds?
At least 3.
And by the way, and I'm sitting down.
290.
If somebody 6'7", 290 leans into you and says, "This is God," and you sit there to wait to see what happens next, that's your stupid ass.
That shit don't